Hi, today we're going to do express training on Raphael's programming suite called Raphael Studio. The program has two views, the path view and the board view. In the board view, what you're doing is defining where the boards are relative to the robot's home position. In the path view, you define where you want the brush to travel relative to the board's upper left corner. You switch between views using the blue button in the upper right. When we talk about the boards, these are not the actual boards. Let me explain. The programming is done with points. Between the points are what we call a move. That's the blue line. All the moves together we call a path, and including the board outline is called the board. All these together is what we call a board. When you're moving a board, what you're actually doing is moving the set of all the moves relative to the robot's home position. The boards, of course, don't move, they're stationary. You're moving the set of paths. Now let's start from the beginning. Launch the program by clicking the large red R. Expand full screen. First thing you want to do is home your robot with the first click on the Utilities menu. Now add your board width and depth. You can get these dimensions from your Gerber, or you can simply measure the board with a caliper. This board's 181 by 67. The safe height is the tallest component on your board. On this board, it's 35 millimeters. Now we can place our first board with the right click, add a board. If we drop the board anywhere, it's not actually located properly with respect to the robot's home. The easiest way to fix that is to use the joystick to move the robot tip to the very right corner, upper left corner of the PCB. Then right click and use the second pick, move to robot, and the board will click right over to the corner. Now you can add more boards, and the spacing is equal to the spacing of your fixture. You have to use the edit position and enter these precisely in order to make sure when it copies the path from one board to the next, it's still registered. Remember, you can also use the control button to highlight all the boards and move all the boards if there is an overall error that you need to compensate for. Now we're ready to program the path. We can bring the board image in under the image settings. Browse to the file that has either your Gerber data or a photo. I'm going to use the Gerber data. Now you can start placing paths. Always pick a point in the front that's easy to identify. This is a large test point. I'm going to right click, add my move from there. I'm going to go up, click again, click again. I'm going to go over this microprocessor. I'm going to go around this connector. I'm just clicking twice for each point. When I'm finished, just hit Finish Move. And I can add more points at any time with the split function. You can go around this connector now. And if there's a turnaround here, it's easy to turn that into an arc, which is easier on the brush flexing. Again, hit finish move. Notice that for each move, you can change the speed and the amount of coating. So you can have different thicknesses and different parts of the board, and you can traverse quickly if there's a part of the board that doesn't need much coating at all. Each point, notice that each point, if you right click, can have a different Z height. You can edit it if you like, or you can use the scroll function. And as you add more points, it will inherit this Z height from the previous one. You can also cause the robot to drip conformal coating a certain number of milliliters at each point. Usually this is 0, but if you're in between large capacitors, sometimes you need to drip. At this point, you can start running the robot using the coat this board function, and that will coat whichever board is highlighted in red. If I use the coat all boards, it will start with number 1, then go to number 2 and number 3. You can reorganize the boards by the order number down here. I just right click to get this menu, and you can change this, for example, to 3. Now it'll do, when you do a coat all, it'll do this board, then that board.